All right, welcome back to Local News Live. I'm Victoria Shirley. Today, we're going to talk about the holiday shopping season and how the shipping delays are affecting shopping. I'm going to pop up my co-host Nick Lawton here so I can ask him a question. Nick. All right, so holiday shopping. It's the end of October. Are you thinking about holiday shopping yet, or what are your plans? Do you have lists written out? Do you know exactly who you're giving gifts to? Do you have like your local mall mapped out, what stores you're going to hit? What are you thinking?
Absolutely not, Victoria. It's not even Halloween yet. Christmas hasn't even crossed my mind yet, not even a peep.
Well, I don't blame you. I'm a last-minute shopper too, but that, according to our station in Madison, Wisconsin, WMTV, that could work against us this year.
Okay, so this is the part where you school us. Why is that, Victoria?
Well, we're going to let anchor reporter Tajma Hall explain more in this special report she worked on for a few weeks. So I'm going to actually pull up NBC15.com. And you can see there this web story. The headline is "Waiting until Black Friday to start holiday shopping could mean missing out." So I'm going to play this video for you so we can learn together about why maybe you and I might miss out this year when it comes to the gifts that we want to buy our loved ones.
And Halloween is days away, and typically around this time of year, most of us are really not thinking about shopping for the winter holidays just yet.
But as NBC15's Tajma Hall explains, maybe you should be.
Supply chain issues, worker shortages, and shipping delays. These are all things that could have a major impact on your ability to get what you need this holiday season. Now this year, waiting until Black Friday to start your shopping could actually mean missing out. Toys, toys, and more toys.
Every time you think you know what that hot toy is going to be, you're surprised.
Toyland is officially open inside Blaine's Farm in Fleet, but Chief Marketing Officer Kristen Stewart says it took a little more work than usual.
We planned way ahead. We knew that we were going to be experiencing some of these issues well in advance of the holidays. So we brought in toys early so that we would be able to have them for our neighbors.
This year, retailers are navigating growing supply chain issues. Even with early planning, many stores are still waiting for certain items to come in.
You will find occasionally an item that didn't make it in time for Toyland, unfortunately. These are items that we believed were going to be here, but then the supplier had trouble. Usually they're still sitting at the port right now.
The challenges aren't just hitting retail chains.
Every week we feel like we're navigating something new.
Jennifer Wibben is the owner of Tradition Market.
This is the children's side of the store. We actually have a sweet little playhouse that they can play in while their parents are shopping.
Tradition is a clothing boutique for women and children in downtown Middleton.
Typically on a normal year, we would kind of take things as we need them. Vendors would actually be asking us, when do you want this shipped? And you want it shipped as close as you can to when you're actually going to sell an item.
Right now, she's asking vendors to ship immediately.
There's going to be delays, not only getting things into the ports, but also actually shipping to us. We're not sure, if we'll get every size.
This year, holiday shopping comes with no guarantees.
Don't wait for the deals this year. That's a typical Black Friday experience. They wait for deals and specials, but I would say if there is something you love that you see in a store, go and get it.
Consumer experts say act now and don't delay on getting the perfect gifts.
We're doing the best we can as small retailers. We're just so thankful to be supported by the community.
I also reached out to Professor Cliff Robb. He studies consumer science at UW-Madison. Now, he told me, big or small, most retailers are all dealing with the same issues right now. He says the best thing we can do as consumers, again, is to avoid waiting until Black Friday to shop.
It's kind of like get in early or potentially miss out. I don't think there's going to be a lot of companies that have the capability to do a big blowout sale at the end of November because inventory is not going to really allow that.
Now, some other things to remember: have a backup plan in mind in case what you're looking for becomes unavailable, and expect that some items might come at a higher price if inventory gets low. In the studio tonight, Tajma Hall, NBC15 News.
All right, we'd like to thank Tajma Hall for that story. And we're lucky enough now to bring her up live. She's joining us from Madison, Wisconsin. And this was a special report, right? So talk to me about what kind of preparation and just what went into putting this story together.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been following consumer trends throughout the pandemic because they have changed. All of our lives have changed during COVID, and the way that we spend money and how often we spend money has changed as well on the consumer end of things. So I have been paying close attention. And of course, this is the time of year where we start thinking about holiday shopping is when most of us are preparing all year to spend money and to get gifts or things for ourselves. So I knew that there could be some changes this year, and I found out that there definitely will be, as you saw in that story.
Yeah, definitely. And you spoke to several businesses yesterday. What was the overall feeling about how they think holiday shopping will go for them this year?
Yeah, so I think that businesses are optimistic, but they know that shipping delays are going to be a really, really, really big game changer for them. They're not sure that they're going to get products in time, and even there are some products right now that they expected to have that they don't have yet. So I think that they are, again, aware of some of the potential problems that they might have, but still optimistic, still want customers to come in and feel confident, shopping. But I mean, that's the biggest thing. You got to start now.
And speaking of customers, were you able to speak to any customers? I know sometimes it's hard to get them on camera. Not everyone wants to be on local news, but maybe off camera, were you able to talk to any customers about how they're feeling about getting all of their gifts checked off of their list for the holiday season?
Yeah, I did get to speak to a few customers off camera, and these are people who I would put in that category of early shoppers. They always go out early. These are the people who are planning ahead, making lists, kind of already in the habit of grabbing things for the holiday season ahead of time. So they all felt really lucky that they were already starting and kind of getting out there. And honestly, they probably will be the ones that are able to get access to what they want faster and get the best prices. So really, we all need to be those early shoppers right now.
Oh, early shopping, that kind of stresses me out a little bit. But what about you? You put a lot of research into this project, talked to an expert and these business owners. How has this changed how you plan to go into the holiday season and do your own holiday shopping?
Absolutely. I am one of those last minute shoppers. I have ideas in my head of what I want to get and who I want to get it for, but I typically don't even think about it until like a couple weeks before Christmas. So I got a wake up call with this. I know that that's probably not going to work this year. So I need to do some planning. I need to sit down and again, we're just a couple days away from Halloween. None of us are typically thinking about any of this right now. Black Friday is when it's the official start to the holiday shopping season. But, I've learned that I really only have a couple weeks to get what I need. And I think we all kind of need to be making those plans.
Yes, definitely. And I'm feeling the pressure as we're speaking right now. So what is the biggest piece of advice when you spoke to that consumer science professor? What was his biggest piece of advice for people going into this holiday season as consumers, as shoppers?
Yeah, so again, it's be patient with the stores that you're shopping at. You might get a different experience than you normally do just because they are juggling so much and they're trying to make sure that they have what you need and want, but they might not always. Also, again, have a plan when you go. Know what you want, and then also have backup items in mind if what you want or what you're looking for is not there or it's not the price that you expected it to be. And again, when supply gets low, when inventory gets low, when things don't come in, that could impact the prices. So you might have had an idea in your mind of how much you wanted to spend, and you might go in the store and you see that those prices are different. That's the biggest piece of information that I took from this is, waiting for those deals, holding out. There's no guarantee this year. So you definitely want to make sure you have a plan, go out. And also, it doesn't really matter where you shop. It doesn't matter if you're at the small mom pop shops local businesses or the Targets, the Walmarts, the big box stores, they're all dealing with the same issues right now. So really take that to heart and support small local businesses because they really need that right now. And just know that even if you go to a small business, that's probably going to be the same experience, and they may not have everything that Target has either. So just be flexible, be willing to change the plan if you can, and have backup ideas.
So don't be completely locked into that one brand, that one item, that one must-have thing. Be flexible, and, you know, a gift is a gift, and hopefully whoever you're giving that gift to is going to be happy either way. So do you have anything you'd like to add? Any other nuggets of information that you can pass along for the many of us? I know you're based in Madison, Wisconsin, but this story certainly applies to every single community across our great television nation. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think just at the end of the day, you know, this is all important information to know, but we're talking about the holiday season. It's the spirit of giving, and your family is what's important, and giving love to each other. So don't get too caught up with all of this. Don't get too stressed out. You'll be able to find what you need, and if they don't have what you need, you'll find something else. But at the end of the day, spending time with family and enjoying, you know, just that sense of togetherness, that's really what's important this holiday season. So don't forget about that.
Oh, definitely. That is certainly a good message. It's more than just the presents. Well, we really appreciate you joining us here on Local News Live. And, you know, we popped up your bio here. So if people want to follow you, where can they go to see what other stories that you've written and reported on?
Yeah, absolutely. I am on Facebook. You can find me there. Just search Tajma Hall, NBC15. I'm also on Twitter, Tajma Hall TV, and then I'm on Instagram as well, tajma.tv. So hit me up if you have a story idea, send it to me, and I'd love to connect.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and thank you again. Have a good early shopping season.
Yes.
All right, so we thank her for joining us here on Local News Live. And now the source of kind of this crunch of what we're all feeling, we're going to go to Nick Lawton to kind of explain what the source of all of that is. Nick, can you help us out there and help us understand exactly what exactly is the source of all of this?
We've been hearing it on national networks. We've been hearing it in local communities as well. For the last few weeks now, actually going on a month now, is the shipping delay and everything that's now coming together to bunch everything up. At first, we think it's a problem with drivers, a shortage of truck drivers getting everything out. And then we hear from the truck drivers saying it's like, well, no, they actually have an automated process on the ship to get everything offloaded from the ship and on there. We keep hearing different things from different sources. So we're going to start kind of breaking it down for you, how everything got this way. Again, this information is coming in to us from the National Retail Federation. You can go to nrf.com actually and see a whole bunch of their reports about the latest retail research and everything. But basically, how it all comes down to is countries very much hit hard where there's a lot of the world's manufacturing all working under this COVID-19 global pandemic. We have had a lot of workers that have been sick or in lockdown with COVID-19 protocols, and that's forced some factories to shut down. And then shipping companies have actually cut their shipping schedules, expecting a drop in demand because of the pandemic. But then there's not going to be any drop in demand, as we're going to show you a little bit later on. Now, shipping companies are expecting a drop, and it did not happen. Demand actually skyrocketed. People responded to stores closing by going online to shop. And even if you do your shopping online, those products still need shipping. Those products still need transportation, regardless of whether it's goods in a brick and mortar store or goods that you see online. So this demand for goods is outpacing the entire system's ability to supply them, which has ultimately kind of led to a cluster you-know-what about this entire situation, Victoria.
Nick, thank you so much for that insight. But despite the shipping crisis, as I'm pulling up some video there of a shipping port, You know, economists are actually expecting a pretty good holiday season. So how does all of that make sense? Well, we're going to dig into that. So the National Retail Federation, they are predicting the highest retail sales record, and they think that it could actually shatter previous records. So here are the predictions. They believe sales during November and December will go up 10.5%. Sales could be up to $859 billion compared to last year, and online and other non-store sales could increase by 15%. And retailers are expected to hire up to 665,000 seasonal workers. That's much more than they hired last year. And also moving along, there's a graphic here I wanted to show you to kind of really illustrate that. You can see there the numbers ticking up since 2002. And this is the historical holiday sales 2021 forecast. This is where you can see why they believe they're going to shatter records when it comes to how many people will be buying gifts this holiday season. And to fully further understand, here's a quote by Chief Economist, there we go, Jack Klenhines. He says, the outlook for the holiday season looks very bright. The unusual and beneficial position we find ourselves in is that households have increased spending vigorously throughout most of 2021 and remain with plenty of holiday purchasing power. He goes on to say pandemic-related supply chain disruptions have caused shortages of merchandise and most of this year's inflationary pressure. And he also goes on to say, with the prospect of consumers seeking to shop early, inventories may be pulled down sooner and shortages may develop in the later weeks of the shopping season. However, if retailers can keep merchandise on the shelves and merchandise arrives before Christmas, it could be a stellar holiday sales season. So again, it looks like there's going to be plenty of gifts on the shelves, but if you are set in your mind about what exactly you want, what your kids are asking for, then that's where you may run into problems if you want something very specific. So, Nick, I'm going to pop you up again. Let's circle back to our first question. Are you thinking about holiday shopping, even though it's not even November yet?
I guess I'm going to have to now.
Yep, I think that's
better safe than sorry.
That is kind of the moral of this story, is that they're saying that if you want something specific, you need to buy it now. And you can't wait for those deals like you could in past years. And if you do want deals, you have to be a little more flexible about what you're buying your friends and family. So any takeaways, Nick, after we really dug into this forecast, this holiday sales forecast?
Honestly, I think it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of working together from everyone in almost every community. There's set to be still some growing and expanding pains across all these different communities when it comes to shippers, when it comes to truck drivers, when it comes to the transporting of those goods, when it comes to retail shops, shop owners, shop employees, and the consumers, us right here. It's going to take a lot of patience and unity from all players around. But as you read in that quote, this can still be a stellar holiday season as long as we all just kind of exercise a little more patience, put a little more planning into it, have a little more grace this holiday season. It's been no secret that so many of us have suffered so much because of this pandemic in the last year, and so many people continue to do so. Our lives have changed. So I know the temptation is always there for us to want to go back to the way things were. It's not like we can't ever have a return to some semblance of normalcy, but again, it's taking a lot of strength from all of us, no matter what our jobs are, no matter what our upbringing is, no matter what our futures look like. So if we can all just be a little more patient with each other and just plan a little better, I think we can still have a wonderful holiday season.
I totally agree with that. And here's an idea, and this is kind of what Tajma kind of touched on, is, you know, material things aren't everything. So we could also give kindness for Christmas. I don't know if that's too cheesy, but that's something that doesn't go out of stock. That's not something that you
Pretty sure
can't
I saw that
not.
on a Hallmark card.
Probably. Me too, maybe. That's something that you don't run out of. So kind acts and acts of service, those are things that go a long way as well, but also buy your gifts early if that's what you want to do. So excellent insight from our Madison, Wisconsin station, NBC15.com. If you want to learn more information or watch the story again, you can always go to their website. There it is right there, NBC15.com.